Hi again everyone, I'm back with another Battlebots 2019 video because Battlebots 2019 is just around the corner, June the 7th, don't miss it. I've got a special thing on Twitch on June the 6th, so don't miss that either. So I thought I'd give you guys some more information about Battlebots before it starts. And today it's going to be about the first 3 fight cards. There's 27 fights in total. The episodes this season are 2 hours long, which is going to be amazing. And so there's going to be 1 rumble in each episode as well, which is really fun because the rumbles are great. A lot of tactics on display. So, recently, the World of Woodrow, it's a great channel. You should definitely subscribe. It's so informative. I get lots of my Battlebots information from there. So he recently made a video telling us all about the first 3 fight cards. Go and watch it if you haven't already. So he gives his opinion on some of the robots and the predictions of the fights. I'm going to do that as well here. So, without further ado, we've got a lot to get through. So, let's jump right in to our very first fight, Duck versus Bombshell. So basically, I think Battlebots is trying to get itself away from all the controversy that happened in the last chance rumble this season. It's what I do as well. It's a good strategy. But so basically, to cut a long story short, there's an active weapon rule in Battlebots where you have to do damage, and there's also a rule which says in a rumble there can only be 1 bot left standing for all the others to be counted out. So technically you could just sit there at the side, do nothing, and you'd still be counted as in. So Duck was the last robot standing, and then Bombshell came alive in the last 3 seconds after damaging some robots in the first half of the fight. So everyone thought that Duck should have won, or most people should anyway. I think Bombshell won within the rules, but the rules need to change. It's not right. I think Duck was the rightful winner. Most Robot Combat fans will say Duck is the winner, and I think it was. I was really upset about that. Kind of ruined the episode for me. But hopefully this fight will address the controversy. Bombshell's reverted back to its Season 2 design, the modular weapon, and Duck is now pointier, basically. It's more well protected as well. So I'm going to have to go with Bombshell on this one, simply on the basis that Duck, I'm not sure what exactly it can do. I'm not sure how powerful the lifter is. We didn't really get to see it lift much last season, but I think it will be able to tip Bombshell over if it tries hard enough. So it's really close. It might just be Bombshell though. After that, we have our very first rumble, and it's the 4 Horsemen versus Double Jeopardy versus Lucky. Wow, I'm looking forward to this one. So, the 4 Horsemen is a multi-bot. I think they're actually bringing 4 robots into the arena at once this time. They've got 6 to choose from, including an entanglement called Sky, which they used in Robot Wars. And a new one called Pizza, which looks like an undercutter saw. So we've also got Double Jeopardy, who's completely redesigned. They're a wedge now, so they can push things. And they also have 2 shots with their pneumatic cannon, the first untethered projectile in Battlebots. And we also have Lucky, my joint favourite this season, along with Nightmare when I found out it was coming back. So Lucky is also in the rumble. My prediction for this fight, I'm guessing Lucky. No bias, I'm not being biased. I think it's Lucky. I don't think Double Jeopardy has a self-righting mechanism, so all Lucky needs to do is get round the sides or the back, and just 1 flip will probably do. I'm not sure how powerful the Double Jeopardy cannon is, but if Lucky's flipper is open, then it could hit something inside it, probably jam it. So, as for the 4 Horsemen, I don't think they're going to use Sky, the entanglement at the back that looks like a windmill, because there's no spinners here. I don't think they're going to use both of the wedge bots either, unless they want to keep a spinner safe. So it's either 2 wedges and 2 spinners, or 3 spinners and a wedge. Either way, I think Lucky's going to win. It's just more powerful. It's just picking on little things that are a quarter of its weight. And I know its wheels are exposed, but it has 4 wheels. So as long as Lucky's working, I think it should win. Next up, Kraken versus Ribbot. There's actually a picture of this on the Battlebots website. Ribbot is a vertical spinner for this match. so I think Kraken is going to win. I think Ribbot would probably have won with the undercutter to sort of fend off the wedge, but Kraken has the advantage now because Ribbot has a much narrower angle of attack. So I think Kraken, they claim to be the most powerful crusher. It's pneumatic, I don't think so, but I'm willing to be proven wrong. Although, those weird frog leg things on the side of Ribbot, they could stop Kraken from getting its wedge underneath the side, so we'll see. Sawblade versus Rotator. I was a bit unsure about these robots, whether I liked them or not. I didn't really like the new Sawblade that much, until I saw his featherweight, Jameson Goes Featherweight, I think it's Megatron, and I think I like it more now. I think I like the concept of an overhead spinner that's not Sawblade, a bit like Vulture from Robot Wars, although that didn't really work, so Sawblade can probably pull it off. They've got their dustpan design there, and Rotator, it looks a bit unfinished in this picture. I hope they've got some wheel guards or something, or even some more top armour. The wedges at the front don't look as stable as before. I think, though, that undercut is going to push Sawblade away. It might get to the tyres. It might actually sever the saw arm. I'm just going to call it a saw arm because I don't really care. With that overcutter, if you will. So Sawblade, I think, is going to lose this one. Next up, we have Tungsten. Oh, sorry, my mistake. Cobalt against Captain Shredderator. So, I think these two robots have fought before in This Is Fighting Robots, and they both flew off to China, fought their robots there, and Cobalt looks greatly improved. It's a vertical spinner now, and it's very reliable, it's very powerful, it's got a lot of bite even with those little teeth, and I think it beats Captain Shredderator in China, so I don't think it will have much problem doing it again. It's a big sturdy wedge, and I think it's just going to box rush Captain Shredderator, deflect it across the arena. Those teeth on Captain Shredderator, they still don't look too stable, so I'm going Cobalt for this one. Endgame versus Death Roll, New Zealand versus Australia, I think. Two asymmetrical spinners, and I think Endgame's got this one, simply because it's the more conventional design machine. It's more built to do its job. Death Roll is more of like there to look good, and I think it looks great, and the vertical spinner on the front looks really, really powerful, but its wedge, it doesn't have a wedge really. Endgame, I think, is just going to get round the sides, flip it over. We've yet to see how well that weird self-righter arm on the back works. I'm not really a fan of like humanoid parts on a robot, like an arm like that. So I'm kind of leaning towards Endgame for this one. Also, it has a self-righter, and also that guy's hair on the right is awesome. So I'm going for Endgame. Next up, we have Quantum versus Blacksmith, and for me, there's only one winner for this, and that is Quantum, simply because Blacksmith is bite-sized. Quantum is a massive, massive overhead crusher. It's really, really powerful. It looks amazing. The metalwork is so natural and smooth. The team are well known for building great robots in the UK, and Blacksmith, it fits perfectly into the jaw of Quantum. There's a picture of this on the Battlebots website. I think Quantum's going to be able to pierce that top armour on top of Blacksmith. If Blacksmith do get shot in with the hammer, I think it's going to be with Warhead. It's just going to sort of hit the crusher, slide off, not really do anything. Unless they can do something to the hydraulic fluid with the flames. I don't know. I don't think Blacksmith is going to win this one. Then we have our very first main event, Tombstone versus Lockjaw. Wow, it's two massive roboteers. I mean massive as in very successful. But so we got Ray Billings versus Donald Hudson, and I'm really looking forward to this. I don't know what to say. Tombstone is really well driven by Ray Billings. I think Lockjaw. Remember that weird plough that Lockjaw used? It was like a triangular plough. They used it against Son of Archie and Valkyrie successfully. If it can slow down Son of Archie, then I don't think it's going to have much of a problem with slowing down Tombstone. Although Tombstone, it seems to have greater reach, so I think it might destroy the wheels of Lockjaw. I don't think Lockjaw's going to go at it with the vertical spinner. That's a bit suicidal. But Tombstone, I think, is going to win this one. Then we have our second episode. So our first fight is Son of Archie versus Huge. I'm going to go with Son of Archie for this one. And this is not because Huge's wheels could get damaged. They do, I think they have the solid wheels available. So horizontal spinners shouldn't really be a problem anymore. They also have tyre treads for more grip, so they can turn quicker, face their opponent. I'm going purely because they can split in half. They can split in half quite easily. With the lower weight classes, Huges have split in half when they've hit horizontal spinners. There's a lot of energy going through their weapon, and it was just too much for the Sassy to handle. I think this Huge is going to be the same, and that weapon bar is quite thin compared to Son of Archie's, which takes up half of its weight. So I think Son of Archie is going to win this one. Also, they both have mini-bots. Son of Archie's got those little Vex Robotics wedge things, and Huge has got Surrender, which looks like a little remote control shoebox. It's so cute. So there'll also be a little battle of the mini-bots going on. War mini-bots? Mini-bot wars? Wait, hold on. Next up we have Texas Twister against Black Dragon. I'm really excited to see this one. Looks like Spitfire's changed sides, is working for Texas Twister now. So if you don't know, Texas Twister is built by Fuzzy Molden and the team. The guys who built Hypothermia last season. And they're bringing their A-game. They've brought Texas Twister, which can be an undercutter, I think. It can also be an overcutter. And we've got Black Dragon, which I believe is Brazilian. So, from me, I think it's going to be Black Dragon on this one. Mostly because it looks like that weapon's going to hit the disc before the disc can hit it. The wedge look like they give good protection, and Texas Twister's wheels are massively exposed. Spitfire can't really do much. Honestly, it's great for show, but I don't know what it's going to do, honestly. Now, we have our second rumble. Marvin versus Grunt versus Gemini. Now, my prediction for this is probably going to be Grunt. They had a middleweight. It was quite successful. It came second in a few things, I think. It's a multi-purpose arm. It can act as like an axe and a clamp and a lifter. Got Marvin on the top with a flywheel that can work any way. I really like Marvin. I just wish they'd be a little bit more creative with the name, but I'll let it slide. And we got Gemini, who don't look that different apart from the discs have weird teeth now, and they are sharper, quite literally. So I don't think Marvin's going to do well because that disc looks too high to hit the Gemini. Its wheels are massively exposed. I don't think it's going to protect itself very well, so I don't think Marvin's going to be a winner. Then we've got Grunt with that big wedge at the front. I think it's going to toss around the Gemini, clamp them, take them to the hazards, and maybe throw them behind the screws, so it's Grunt for me. Then we have Witch Doctor versus Shatter, two amazing looking robots from amazing teams. Witch Doctor's weapon has greater reach this year. It's much quicker, I think, as well. The front wheels are protected, and then we've also got Shatter with the Omni wheels and the massive hammer. I really don't know who's going to win this fight. I really don't. Some of me is saying Witch Doctor because Shatter looks like it's going to jump up when it hits something, meaning Witch Doctor could just get underneath it almost and flick it in the air, maybe roll it around. Although part of me is saying that hammer of Shatter is going to fit right through the rib cage and hit something inside Witch Doctor. So I'm 50-50 with this one. Then we have Mammoth versus Axe Backwards. Ideally we would have had Nelly, but beggars can't be choosers. Yes. So, Axe Backwards there. I think it's going to win. Mammoth is massive. It looks amazing, but seriously, what's it going to do to Axe Backwards? Let's be honest. Axe Backwards is going to tear its wheels off, I think. It's going to get rid of... I think it's going to tip Mammoth over. But I just don't see what Mammoth can do to Axe Backwards. you can't really attack axe backwards unless it's from the wheels, and Mammoth doesn't look like it's the most precise weapon. We then have One Who and SubZero. And SubZero is looking awesome this season. I think it's really going to do well. Then we've got One Who from China. Looks a bit like Pulsar with that drum. It's got the wedgelets on the front, and I think it's going to be SubZero for this one. SubZero is a really, really durable machine. It always has been. I don't see why this season is going to be any different. And I think it's going to flip One Who before One Who can get a hit in with the drum spinner. So SubZero, I think, is going to win this one. We then have Chronos versus Gigabyte. Two shell spinners. There's a picture on the Battlebots website. What do I think? I think Gigabyte, based on their experience, probably. Yeah. Chronos reminds me of Mobius. I don't know. Never seen it before. I think they're going to be the same. It's really hard to tell. It's who's going to break down first. I don't really know Chronos's capabilities, so I'm going to have to go with Gigabyte for now, although I'm not sure. We then have Whiplash versus Minotaur in our second main event, and I'm going to go with Whiplash for this one. Minotaur this season looks awesome, I think. I really like it. Whiplash also looks awesome. It always has, sorry. I think Whiplash is going to get a better hit in than Minotaur. It only has one tooth on the disc, and I think it's better driven than Minotaur. It can lift it over and then hit it with the spinner and send Minotaur flying, although its wheels are exposed, and that's something Minotaur likes doing. It's its favourite food, wheels. So I think Whiplash could also damage Minotaur's wheels, actually, if it gets a chance to use the overhead spinner technique on top of Minotaur. It's going to be really close, but I think Whiplash. We then have Hypershock and Valkyrie, and both of these, I really like the look of both of these this season. Valkyrie's got their disc and they've got their bar, I guess, and we've got Hypershock looking like a race car with a disc and a wedge, and I'm going to go with Valkyrie. Hypershock looks like it's got a good wedge this season. It's going to deflect Valkyrie a lot, but that disc looks a bit small, and I don't know what it's going to do to a massive heavy disc like Valkyrie. Also, its wheels are exposed. Valkyrie could take the wheels of Hypershock right off. That's going to be really sad because I love Hypershock's wheels. They look so cool. Next up, we have Falcon versus Breakerbox. Both of these machines used to be middleweights in the US live scene, so they've probably fought each other before, so there's a bit of a rivalry here. So we've got Falcon from Team Y Archie. They've got 3 robots this season. It's ridiculous. We've got Breakerbox from Team Nightmare, who've also got Nightmare this season. I'm so happy about that. Anyway, Breakerbox has got personality now, so I want it to win. Falcon, it's tiny! Oh my god, it's tiny! The mini-bots are going to make this thing look normal sized. Oh my goodness, it's so small. Breakerbox is just going to pick it up and take it where it wants, if it goes with the wedge. It has 2 drum spinners on Falcon, and I'm not saying it's a bad robot. None of these machines are bad robots, by the way. I love all of them. But I think Breakerbox is going to win. I don't see Falcon winning this fight. Even if Breakerbox used their hammer, the Falcon drum spinners look too small to do anything. And Breakerbox is built like a tank. So I'm going with Breakerbox for that. Then we have our third rumble. It's a Jasper versus Tantrum versus Uppercut. And I'm going with Tantrum for this one. Jasper, I've never seen it before. It's from the UK somewhere. I think it's Cambridge or Brighton or somewhere. But so it has a big wedge, although that's not going to really be very useful against 2 vertical spinners. One of which is from MIT. Again, Uppercut. I like the look of it mostly, apart from the like humanoid arm. Again, I'm not a fan of that on robots, but that's just my opinion. We've got Jasper. Jasper's got a hammer. I'm not sure what that weird cherry thing is, that lollipop thing that it's got at the moment. We've got Tantrum, which is like, it's something that you wish you could design in Robot Arena 2 or something. It's got 2 wedges at the front. It's 4-wheel drive, it looks like, and it's got a vertical spinner this season, and it's on a retractable thing, I guess. So once it gets something on the wedge, the spinner goes forwards really quickly, like a punch, and Tantrum sends stuff flying. So I think it's gonna tip Uppercut over. Uppercut doesn't look like it can self-right. Neither does Jasper, to be honest. We'll have to see. I think it can cause some great damage to both of them. And Uppercut looks like it's got a fierce vertical spinner as well. Could take the arm right off Jasper. And Tantrum can't self-right. It doesn't look like that anyway, so it's either Tantrum or Uppercut for me. Then we have, oh thank you Battlebots, Ragnarok versus Monsoon. It's Battle of the UK. Tim, the guy who's always yelling on the left, the very left, he switched robots. Instead of yelling Monsoon, he's always going to be yelling Ragnarok now, and that doesn't have the same ring to it. So, Monsoon versus Ragnarok. Ragnarok's basically a big wedge. It's built by Jack Tweedy and the team, who built Vanquish last season. Hopefully this won't fall in half. Looks much sturdier. And it's got an axe. I think the wedge is going to be its main weapon. It looks like it's going to take on all of the spinners, including Monsoon, which doesn't look too different. I know they've made some changes inside, and the vertical spinner's got a lot of bite, but Ragnarok is a massive wedge. So I'm going to go with Ragnarok, although I really like Monsoon, and it could still win. Then we have Petunia versus Warhawk. Petunia is another one of my favourite robots from this season. The team were nice enough to comment on my video, which I'm really happy about. So there's Petunia. They've improved it a lot. The hydraulic cylinder is different, so the crusher moves down quicker with the same pressure. I think it retracts quicker as well. So that's going to be awesome. The wedge is shaped differently to fit the hydraulic cylinder, I think. But other than that, it's the same overall design. It's a steep wedge with the crusher. Then we've got Warhawk, which looks the same but different. Warhawk last season, when I first saw it, it looked a bit fragile, like all the parts were going to fall out if something flipped it. But it was surprisingly sturdy, and this one looks sturdier because it's got top armour now. And it has a different spinner. It looks like someone punched it in the face because its wedge isn't slanted anymore, it's just flat, which could help it get better reach with the weapon. I really like the old Native American design on Warhawk. It's still got that. It's sponsored by Botkits, I think, so which means they're probably going to have that little mini bot again. Which Petunia, I think it'll make a nice appetizer for Petunia. So I think Petunia's going to maybe damage the motors on top of Warhawk. We'll see. Then we have Scorpios versus Copperhead, and I really don't know. Don't ask me. Scorpios, they've sort of done the Sawblades. They've gone with the overhead spinner rather than a Sawblade. It's got those weird little wedge things to trap things and hit them. And yeah, so that's basically Scorpios. Then we've got Copperhead. I read somewhere that it was the spiritual successor to Poison Arrow. I don't know for sure. Anyway, it was built by Robert Cowan or Cowan. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm really sorry. I'm not great with the names, but it's an egg beater spinner and it looks awesome, and we've seen the weapon test and I think it's going to do really well. Copperhead also has a fight with Gruff somewhere later in the season. That's not an official fight card though, so I've not put it on this list, and I think Copperhead's got this one, because those little pointy bits, if you see on the front of Scorpios, the little wedgelets stick up a bit, and I think Copperhead's going to rip that up, send Scorpios flying, take off the wheels. I don't think Scorpios is going to use their weapon if Copperhead's got its beta spinner running, and I think it could damage the arm if Scorpios try and do that. So Copperhead for that one. Then we have Freeshipping versus Hydra. Hydra is our third Archie robot. They've brought 3 robots. I'd like to see some other teams make it in, get chance, but at least we know this robot is going to work if it's brought by Team Archie. And Freeshipping. Oh, it looks awesome still. It looks like original Sin with a hat, and a forklift, obviously. It looks more competitive this season. Like last time they were there, they were like a showbot almost to make entertaining fights. And they've got Flamethrower again, but I think now they're going to be more competitive. And Hydra's a flipper, so the World of Woodrow made the joke airmail, which is kind of funny. But I think Freeshipping, because it can run anyway. I just don't see Hydra winning this fight. Yeah, I don't think there's much Hydra can do. It's going to be close. It's going to be really close. Then we have our very final fight card, the main event of the 3rd episode, Bite Force versus Yeti. Yes. So, Yeti's got the pointy forks now. Bite Force is the defending champion. I love Bite Force. Bite Force is awesome. I think it's going to win this fight. Something about the new Yeti, it just looks a bit rushed. I don't know what it is. Honestly, I'm not a fan. No, the drum spinner, it doesn't look like it's got any reach to it. The teeth look really, really small. Bite Force is really well driven. It's going to get around the sides. It's going to chew those tyres up. And those forks on the front of Yeti, they're going to get in the way. I just don't think it's going to win. I think Bite Force is going to defend its title. Well, for this fight, anyway. And it's going to send Yeti flying. And I think it's going to be really awesome. So, there are some good fights this season. And thank you very much for watching. We're so close to 100 subscribers. We just need 2 more people. Honestly. Please, I'm begging you to subscribe. If you're not a YouTuber, then you're like I used to. You just think, oh well, why would I subscribe? But it means a lot when somebody subscribes. To have 100 subscribers is going to be amazing. So if 2 people or more are kind enough to do that, then thank you so much. You're a great person. And thank you very much for watching. Let me know if I had different opinions to you down in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next Battlebots video. Bye bye.